Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. And Coach, before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to, well, I heard some sad news over the weekend that one of Aberdeen's biggest sports fans, Clarence, passed away. And Wings family certainly will miss him. As I can't remember a time when I wasn't at a Wings game where he and Nate didn't greet me, or at the Brown County Speedway. They were big sports fans and huge Wings fans. So Wings Nation and Wings family will certainly miss them. And our thoughts and prayers go out to all of Clarence's family and friends. On to, well, happier notes. Well, it's almost like having a second training camp, Coach. You've got some breaks in the schedule here, and I imagine everyone's chomping at the bit to get back on the ice in a competitive, fashion. But I would imagine there's some positives that can be taken away too, like getting a chance to get some injured guys healthy, and having a little extra time to work on some things too, huh? Yeah,
it's normally during the junior hockey season you don't get that kind of rest. So
right.
We did have some substantial injuries that'll allow us obviously to get more manpower back into our lineup eventually, where they're not missing games. So that was good. Obviously we had some delay in getting on the ice, so we're back this week, and it takes a little time to get back at it. So
sure.
We're doing the best we can with what we have, and I think we'll be ready to go by the weekend.
Okay. Well, what have the weeks looked like now that you mentioned that? I mean, is it basically like any other regular season work week, or did you guys switch some things up? Maybe have them do stuff from home, or how did it look?
Yeah, we were advising them when they were home to obviously continue working on their cardio and anything that they can control on their own. It's a lot of them don't have the resources at home.
Sure.
So yeah, it's different times,
yeah.
And I'm learning to deal with it as we go, and to adapt. And the nice thing is we've seen a lot of faces here today, and guys are ready to get back after it.
I know a lot of fans certainly are too. I was thinking about this over the weekend, watching some college football and different things, and some interviews with college coaches and stuff, and I got to thinking back to when you first took this job. I remember interviewing you over the phone and talked to you about your style, your coaching style, and I got to thinking about if a coach's style evolves as the seasons go along or the years go along. Do you find yourself maybe changing some things up that maybe you would have done differently 5, 6, 8 years ago?
I think so. I think if you're not adapting to the change of the game and staying ahead of it, you're going to be behind really quick. Mm-hmm. I think like hockey, like all sports, things are changing. The games are changing. Games are played a lot faster than they used to play. It went from a full possession, who can possess the puck more, to how quick you can get the puck up the ice and in the back of the net. So I believe I've changed a little bit. I certainly like our teams to play a lot faster. Back a while ago, I would say a while ago, but maybe 10 years ago, you were able to have some bigger, stronger, heavier guys, maybe not as skilled,
yeah.
Throughout your lineup. That where fighting was a lot more evident in the game, and that you kind of needed to protect your guys. Now the game has changed. It's a more skill game. Guys are a lot more disciplined. Thanks to the National Hockey League, changing their rules, and now like the North American Hockey League has substantial discipline. For ways guys aren't playing the right way. So it really changed the game. But I think as a coach, if you're not constantly getting better, find a way to get better every day. And the summers, I take a lot of time to, whether it's get to symposiums or this summer it was a lot of the Zoom stuff.
Oh, sure.
With the NHL conferences and stuff like that. But I'm always tapping into that stuff, because I think you can learn something new every time from someone. There's a lot of bright minds in the hockey world, and that's one thing I really like to do is to get better and to get smarter every day.
Well, I often ask players who they feel like their playing style is most like when it comes to NHL guys or whatever. I know you're a big fan of reading different books about a lot of it's almost on the, I don't want to say a spiritual level, but on a positive level, and about motivating guys and about that, that kind of thing. Is there somebody that you kind of try to be like?
No, I don't think so. I guess I don't study a lot of the NHL coaches, obviously. I mean, you watch them, they do unbelievable things, but I think you have to just be yourself.
Yeah.
And you're right, I do like to read, and I like it to be on the positive level, on the motivational level, because I think as times change, kids are motivated. Young men are motivated in different ways.
Right.
The new generation, the different generations are all motivated in different ways. And I think all of us wake up in the morning, and there's times where it's tough to be positive. I think that's human nature. And I think the more you can live a positive lifestyle and bring that to your dressing room every day, I just think everybody benefits around you. I mean, you look when you walk up to someone and they're happy and they're positive, it just changes how you feel as a person. And I think when you walk into a locker room with 25 guys or 26 guys, if you're not portraying that positive mental attitude and treating guys in a positive way, really quick, your team demeanor goes in the garbage pretty quick.
Kind of that trickle-down effect, or carryover, I guess. That kind of leads me into my next question, which is about your assistant coaches. Now, you've had some great ones, obviously, and I wondered a little bit about, like we were talking with style and chemistry, working with assistant coaches. What do you expect out of your assistant coaches? And when you're looking to hire Coach Bone, for example, or Coach Hill, are you thinking about these two guys, or this guy and I will work well together?
Yeah, and I've had the luxury, though, of hiring, for the most part, ex-players, where I kind of got to see what kind of human being they were, how they went, in their daily lifestyle, and were they a positive person, were they a hardworking person, and I've been, with Coach Bone and Coach Hill, who've done an absolutely great job when they worked for me. I knew those guys. Yeah. Two very different human beings, very similar work ethics, but they're willing to come in and not think they know it all as a young coach. They just want to learn and get better, and I enjoy helping them get better. And what it seems like, and I've been lucky enough that guys like that, once you kind of give them a leash and let them kind of be their own guy, they start taking on the coaching. I don't need to push them in the locker room. I don't need to force them to do video. I don't need to stick my nose in the power play with Mike or Coach Bone. They take pride in it, and they love winning, and they love the program just as much as these players do. And I think that's one of the big things that you're asking me. I want them to be invested in what they're doing. And when I went after those two guys, I mean, they wanted to be the coach. Yeah. It wasn't, please. I didn't have to pull hairs. I didn't have to beg. It was, I want this opportunity, and if you give it to me, I'm going to take it. And I've been really fortunate that way. And I'll tell you, having the advantage of having past players aboard that have known you. I mean, these guys know my days, whether I'm in a bad mood, a good mood. They know me well. Like Mike Hill knows me well. Anthony Bone knew me to a T. And those guys know when to pick up. When I'm having a bad day, they know when to have a good day. And they're two special human beings, and that's what makes them good. Yeah, well, and all about chemistry, and certainly having that knowledge of them ahead of time would help. I know, thinking back, I think it was last year when you were at Top Prospects, if not last year, the year before, but it had to have been last year. Coach Hill talked a little bit about his meeting with you when he had heard you were in the area or whatever. He was so excited. He said he ran home and jumped through the shower and just got as dressed as fast as he could. And I think he even said he borrowed a friend's shirt because he didn't have a dress shirt, and he was just so excited about the opportunity to get, basically interview for an assistant coaching position. So it's funny that you say that. These are guys that are hungry, that want the position. Well, you look at that though. He wanted the job so bad. He drove an hour each way. Knew I only had so much time with everything that was going on. It was at the league meetings, the coaches meetings down in Dallas, and he showed up with his rink board and his files and everything that he could possibly get his hands on. And I didn't need any of that. I just wanted to know that he had matured as a person, and I already knew that he was a good hockey mind and that he was willing to learn. But those are the guys you want in your organization. It's no different with the players. You want to hear the other end of that phone where they, we just signed a new kid, Leighton Stemman out of Michigan, and it's, yes, coach, give me that paper now. I want to be a part of your team. And as we go on here and we have more and more success in Wingland, you get more of those calls.
Sure.
Where people just want to be a part of something special. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Gotta love that hunger and that tenacity, like you said, built on the ice, in the locker room, at a desk, in an assistant coach's office, wherever it might be. Well, Fairbanks come to town this weekend. Coach Stewart always has a great group of guys on the ice for the Ice Dogs. Only 2 games that they've played so far this year. So another situation where there's not a lot of film out there. What do you know about the Ice Dogs?
Yeah, well coached. I watched both games on the weekend with them in Janesville, and Trevor just does a really good job of getting his players to play the way that he wants them to play. And they always seem to have a good amount of depth on their team, and their D always move the puck well. So it's going to be interesting. They've been practicing, they've been playing, and we've been idle. But our guys are eager to get back after it. How awesome is it that we get to play the Fairbanks Ice Dogs when without having to go all the way to Alaska, we get to have a team of that caliber with that much success. I mean, Coach Stewart has 2 championship rings over there, and we get to bring them into our building here in Aberdeen. I think it's so awesome to be able to play a team of that caliber here at the Odie.
Yeah, I know it's one I've been looking forward to for sure. And like you said, Coach Stewart with 2 national championships as a franchise, 3, I think 11, 14, and 16, if I'm not mistaken. What are you going to, like you mentioned, it's going to be interesting, but are there some keys that you were able to pick up on or whatever that you expect from your guys coming up for Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, but those things are things that I would never share with you, Jay.
Well, I know better to ask specifics.
And you always seem to ask me that question, but I'm never going to tell you.
One of these days I might catch you slipping.
It goes back to the same thing, and I know it sounds cliche, and we talk about it all the time, but it really is about what comes out of this dressing room come Friday night.
Right.
And are we prepared? Are we ready? Are our guys playing at their best? Playing their best game? And this week, it's just a different week of preparation for us. It really is. We have the different kind of numbers than we're used to having, and without going into detail. So we get guys back as the days go on. So it's just going to be different come Friday, and we'll see who we have to put in the lineup. But we're going to continue to work on our game. I think when we play our style of game and we play it the right way, we're tough to beat any night, any team. We have a chance to win.
Without a doubt. I'm probably going to keep asking you that question, though. One of these times I might just get you to slip a little tidbit of information.
I think I'm going to just fill you with a bunch of bull.
That would not surprise me, actually. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us a little bit about how the weeks have looked, and then also, of course, what we can expect against the Fairbanks Ice Dogs coming up this Friday and Saturday here at the Odie Ice Center. Once again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, we've got a player that will be joining us coming up when we return after this.
Your bird dog deserves a great hunt.
Let's go. Let's hunt some birds.
So do you. This season, hunt in Aberdeen, South Dakota, America's premier pheasant hunting destination. Experience the flush. Experience the rush of wild birds in wild places. Create your hunt of a lifetime this season in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Continuing on with Wings Weekly, and as promised, a player joining us, and this time it's Nico De Vita of Bellevue, Washington. Nico, how are you?
Doing well, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Happy to have you. Well, I got to ask you the prerequisite questions that I ask everybody. The whole, how old were you when you started skating? What was your, what inspired you to get into the game of hockey as a whole?
All right, I was about 4 years old when I started playing. I guess I just went out for a public skate. Really enjoyed skating. Wasn't going to be a figure skater. That just wasn't in the cards for me.
No toe pick for you?
Yeah, no. And so I just saw hockey, started playing it, loved it. So.
How about your path to Aberdeen and to the Wings? Because you were here in 18-19 towards the end of the season and got to be part of that championship run and stuff. And I always like to ask guys, like, did somebody make a phone call on your behalf, or did they come to you? Did you go through a camp? How did that process work for you?
Right, so I used to play in the NAPHL for a team back home in Everett. I have an advisor that's really good friends with Langer, so I think he got in contact with them. They watched me for a few games, and then I was tendered. And then the next year, I was tendered, finished out that year. My team lost pretty early, so we were done quick. Then I came out here for a visit. And then after my week-long visit, went home and then talked to Hilly a bit, and they said, yeah, if you want to come out for the rest of the year, just skate with us, play. We can't promise you any games, which I didn't get any, which is fine. Then I just came out. Thought it would be really good for me to get used to practice style, you know, their coaching style. Just get ready for the year after.
Well, and that obviously, I mean, gives you a little bit of a head start,
right?
You know, on a lot of the guys that were first here last year. You said home in Everett. I said Bellevue. Was I mistaken?
So I just played up in Everett. It's about 30, 45 minutes north where I live. There's really no hockey in Bellevue.
Had to make sure that I didn't mess something up there. Okay, well, I was looking at some numbers. In the 2019-2020 season, you had 46 games played, 1 goal, 11 assists. This year, in the 2020-2021 season, 6 games played, 1 goal, 4 assists. You're almost halfway to where you were last year in 46 games. What do you attribute that to?
I guess ice time. I mean, this year again, we're a really solid team, really solid decor. As a first-year guy last year in terms of playing. So,
confidence, part of that?
Yeah, part of that is a lot of confidence, getting a lot more ice time, power play time, that kind of stuff, and just, you know, really feel like a veteran in this league. So I feel like I should be producing.
Right on. Well, that kind of leads me, transitions really nicely, actually, into the next question, which is I wanted to talk to you about being a leader. You know, as you mentioned, you finished out the season in 18-19 here, and then, of course, last year for the entire season. You know this town, you know these coaches, you know this locker room, and so on. What kind of a leader are you? I've talked with Coach Langer about, you know, especially when he announces or names the captains and so on, about leading styles. There's guys like Nick Ciccoli and so on that were pretty quiet. You know, they lead by example. Then there's other guys like Pearson Brandon that are, you know, a lot more vocal, you know, on the bench and in the locker room and stuff. What kind of leader are you?
I'd say I'm more of a vocal leader. I like to lead by example, of course. You kind of need to do that as a leader. I think with me, Clay, and Schneider, I think it's a good balance. Clay is a very mature person and just a mature leader. Schneider obviously brings the energy every day. I think I'm the most vocal out of them. I can tell somebody the things they don't want to hear, and I can also pump somebody's tires. So I'd say I'm a vocal one for sure.
Well, like you said, sometimes it's all about balance and how leaders or coaches or whatever it might be, how they fit together. That's just a big part of it. Ferris State commit. Talk to me a little about that. How did you decide on Ferris State? What was good about it?
Yeah, so I started talking to them at the very beginning of the year last year after the showcase. They just came up to me after our last game, said he was going to watch me the rest of the season. Talked to them a little bit throughout the year, and then after our year was cut short, I talked to him at Top Prospects when I went there last year. Said he was going to have me out on a visit, and then they were going to offer me there. Didn't get to go on the visit because of, you know, what's going on. But they still offered me in, I want to say it was April, late April. Talked to Langer, talked to my family, said it was a really good offer. So just took it and really happy with it.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's oftentimes interesting to, you know, about, like we were just talking about how pieces fit together. Sometimes a school can be a good fit, better than another, and a guy like Langer, or, you know, that has been around this league for as long as he has, he generally has a pretty good idea of what it takes. All right, couple of goofy questions kind of coming up here, but I've got one other hockey question I wanted to ask you. What is if you had to break it down, if you had to take hockey and say, okay, this part is, you know, offensive minded, this part is defensive, this is physicality, this is kill, whatever. what would your favorite part of this game be?
Probably shutting it down in the D zone. I'd say I'm this year a bit more of a two-way defenseman just because of that confidence like we talked about. But last year coming into the league, I really had to focus on my defensive zone and do my job first, which is to shut the other team down. So I really enjoy making sure they don't score, and I love games where we win by a large margin or even a small margin where we give up nothing. We give up under 20 shots, have a lot of block shots, that kind of stuff I really like to see.
Well, in the first 6 games, there's been a lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot of blocked shots and very few shots on goal from the opponents. It's always an interesting question to me for each player because, I think the casual fan doesn't really realize that, it's hockey. A hockey player loves hockey. But there's different components. Like I always remember years back, it was Tyler Bossert, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves, years ago, that told me as he was walking out, actually, he was like, oh, there's nothing better than the kill. So I absolutely love the chaos of the penalty kill. And I was just kind of looked at him like, really? I would not have thought of that, So it's interesting that there are different pieces to the game that some guys just tend to appreciate or gravitate to a little more than others. But as a defenseman, being a shutdown guy, that's probably a good thing. Oh, let's see. What is your go-to beverage? If you're going to go, say at a restaurant, if you're going to order something, it can be anything. What's it going to be?
Most of the time I get water, but besides a water, like say probably like a Sprite or root beer. I really like root beer. Good root beer. Right on.
How about coffee? You're a coffee guy?
I do drink coffee every morning.
Starbucks, Caribou?
Yeah, Starbucks guy, but right now I just make it at the house. Bill's got one of those Keurig things, so coffee every morning. Become a coffee addict, so it goes.
I saw somebody's Snap story the other day where there was like 20 cars outside of Starbucks, and it said, Starbucks has nothing that's going to make me stand in that line or sit, in that line of your car. And I got thinking, man, people spend a lot of money on those drinks. Okay, how about a game day routine? What does that look like? Walk us through a day.
At home, so last year I would always watch the Star Wars series, and I just rotate through all the movies. This year, all the Harry Potters, just keep rotating through them. I probably watch about half of one, sometimes a full one, depending on how long my nap's going to be. Get to the rink pretty early. One of the first ones here. I just like to take my time.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything crazy in terms of putting on certain gear a certain way or anything. I have some coffee here before the game. I guess when we play Sewer, which is that soccer game, I only play 2 games. I don't know why, it just feels right to only play 2, even if they're playing more. But besides that, I just like to take my time, stretch out, roll out. I don't know. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. What would be, okay, this is kind of a 2-part question. What would be your dream car? I shouldn't say car, vehicle. Maybe you're a Jeep guy, pickup guy, you're a sports car guy, whatever. What if you could choose any car that was just given to you, what would it be?
Unrealistic dream car would definitely be a McLaren. That's I think it's a very good looking car, very high performance. Realistically,
know what that is. I've never even heard of that.
It's a top-notch sports car. It's
a
couple $1 million at least. But realistically, I really want a Toyota Tacoma. Living in a city area, I can't really. It's difficult with a big truck. So I think like a nice 2020 Toyota Tacoma would be perfect for me because I still like to get out there, but
sure,
I don't want that huge truck. So
now the second part of that. Would you rather have that McLaren or that, or the Toyota Tacoma, the 2020, that is guaranteed to randomly break down at least once a year? Even though it looks amazing and everything's just great about it, you could be going down the street to go to get a coffee, or you could be on a long road trip and you never know when it's going to happen, but it's going to break down. Or have a car that is full of rust and holes and sounds like crap, but it never breaks down.
I'd probably take the Tacoma and let it break down. Not the McLaren, because to repair that, it's just going to be, it's expensive to keep those up. So I'd probably, I don't know, I'd eat it. I'd take it.
Run the risk or roll the dice, so to speak, on that one time. Nice. Good to know. Okay. One final question. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Two final questions. Two. Can't have two final questions. That was dumb.
Two-parter.
What is the hardest part about being away from home? Obviously, you miss your friends and your family, but I would imagine with FaceTime and all these different kind of things, it's a little easier to stay connected than it once was. But what do you miss the most? What's the most difficult?
Well, I mean, yeah, I get to talk to my family on the phone and stuff. I'd say my pets.
Yeah.
Like my dog and cat, because I can't really like communicate with them.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, so I'd have to say them.
Good answer.
The biggest thing, yeah.
Captain Jack Kelly said that very same thing. He said, "My dogs, because they don't know why I'm not there."
Yeah,
and I thought that's a great answer. How about Fairbanks? Obviously, it was Coach Langer and I were just talking about. Didn't have a chance to really see a lot of film or anything on them. Weird, work week for you guys. Is there anything in particular that you feel like you have to do against a team like Fairbanks, or do you just go out and play your game?
Yeah, I think we're just going to stick to our game. I think we're going to watch some film later in the week for sure. I think right now we're just focused on, dusting off the cobwebs. A week and a half or so of not skating, and a couple guys even coming in Thursday. So I think right now we're going to focus on getting ourselves ready, just to play a game, and then later on in the week we're going to probably start focusing on the things that they do,
sure.
Their breakouts, and
which is, basically a typical game week, really.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's about all I've got for you, Nico. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Remember, folks, Friday, November 13th, versus the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. It's Military Appreciation Night. All members of the military will receive free admission with a valid identification. Saturday, November 14th, versus the Ice Dogs, First Responders Night. All first responders will receive $5 tickets at the door. Doors open at 5:30, and the puck always drops at 7:15. Get your tickets now at tickets.aberdeenwings.com. $15 corporate bar stool seats are available for both games by calling Aaron at 605-380-5852. $10 general admission tickets are also on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Corporate night sponsorships are available for the 2020-2021 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episode, all of these season's episodes, on Spotify or Stitcher Radio. Once again, Nico, thanks for coming on, and best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Good luck against Fairbanks. Folks, that'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.